live on the air. I'm Richard Sales.
This is wild.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Lounge Time. I'm your host, Rich Sale. Week 3, now in the books. We turn the page to week 4. Whole lot of football we got to get into today, from the Steelers-Browns last week to Packers-Tampa, Chief bandwagons, Giants delusional fans. This is my favorite episode to debut. Let's get into it, shall we? It started last Thursday with the Steelers and the Browns. Mitchell Trubisky looked like the typical average quarterback that he was. All right? And there's no push downfield. It's just dink and dunk, run Najee behind a bad line. That's what the Steelers are right now. Okay? He had, 20 or 32, 207 yards. Just game manager stats. Najee, 15 for 56 and a touchdown, right? So, okay. But, the only big playmaker in their offense is Deontay Johnson, 8 catches for 84 yards. Okay, Pickens had the catch that broke the internet, but they didn't win, okay? Defense, though, held them for the most part to 23 outside of a late lateral. Highsmith been stepping up without TJ Watt, 1.5 sacks. But they can't turn the ball over on defense. They can't stop the run. Heck, we'll talk about the Browns in just a minute. If you can't stop the run with New England and Cleveland, yeah, you're going to have some problems. 1 of 9 on third down, terrible. Absolutely terrible. You won't win a game like that. Okay, 1 turnover, we all know. Okay, Kenny Pickett, he didn't play, but the reason I bring his name in this is the Steeler fans really want to see him play. Here's the problem. I know it's the Jets, but guess who you have after? In Buffalo, with Tampa thrown in there, with the Eagles thrown in there, with a couple other teams I probably didn't mention in Miami. You really want to ruin his confidence right now? I know they want to see what he's got. And yes, he outplayed Trubisky in the preseason, but I don't know if I want to throw him into those Wolves. No way, okay? Just wait, okay? If this is the game he would have started, he would obviously be playing, but he's not. So, sucks Steelers fans, but you're going to have to wait on the Kenny Pickett hype train. Let's go to the Browns. Jacoby Brissett did good for a game manager. 21 of 31, 222, 2 touchdowns. Okay? Nick Chubb, my preseason pick for Offensive Player of the Year. 23 carries, 113 yards, and a touchdown. Cleveland's going to have a top rushing attack this year. Doesn't matter if Deshaun Watson gets back. It won't matter. They're going to feed Chubb. They're going to go through him. Kareem Hunt's going to get his touches. And then they'll sprinkle in Amari Cooper, who had 7 for a $101 and a touchdown. They'll get Njoku, the tight end, 9 for 89 and a touchdown last game. They will run first, set up Cooper and Njoku in the passing game, and that's going to be the formula for them this season. Okay? Defensively, their first real good game of the season. They held Steelers to 17. Denzel Ward, Pro Bowl corner, had a fumble recovery. And, Phillips had a sack. Did a good job. But this was the first game the Browns defense actually played well. I still don't know about that unit for the long run, but encouraging sign for their defense. Hopefully Myles Garrett's all right. He had a car crash earlier this week, and he's been recovering. Should play Sunday. We don't know, but we'll get into the picks later. Okay? Texans and Bears. I'm not spending a lot of time on this game because I have a whole lot of other games I really want to talk about. Davis Mills just is not the guy. He's just not the guy. All right, 20 of 32, 245, touchdown, 2 interceptions. He threw a red zone pick to Eddie Jackson. Essentially, that was the difference in the game. All right, Dameon Pierce, finally, you see what happens when you run Dameon Pierce, Texans? You ran him well against Denver, but you abandoned it. The Colts game, he didn't really do well, but still, you see what happens when you run the ball with him? Okay? That's what you guys are. You have to run the ball with him. He did great in preseason for a reason. Okay? Albeit preseason, but he did good. He deserves touches. Okay? Jordan Akins caught a touchdown. The defense managed to get 5 sacks on them, but, I mean, that's going to be a yearly average for the Bears this season based on how bad their line is. Jalen Petrie, the rookie safety, had a fumble recovery, 2 interceptions. Welcome to the NFL type of game for the young rookie. Good for him. All right? 3 of 12 on third down. Terrible. That will not win games for you. Okay? 2 turnovers. You lost by 3. Little things matter, guys, to win games. All right? Speaking of the Bears, something is wrong in Chicago. Justin Fields is throwing for barely over 100 yards now in 3 consecutive games. Is he not properly developed? Do they not trust him? Like, something is off about that. Okay, David Montgomery's now hurt. Khalil Herbert's now their number 1 back, but again, maybe Montgomery's able to come back Sunday versus the Giants. But why is Justin Fields throwing for barely over 100 yards? Something's off there, okay? He had 8 of 17, 106 yards, and 2 interceptions. Something doesn't add up. I need to know why, because it's a little unusual for a second-year quarterback to not be throwing and learning. But what is he learning if he's barely throwing for over 100 yards? He's just handing it off. But at least we know what the Bears are. They're a run-first team, and they'll play defense, okay? Khalil Herbert, speaking of him, 20 carries, 157 yards, 2 touchdowns, okay? The offensive line in Chicago, it's going to be a long year for you guys. 5 sacks allowed. Yeah, clearly they have not fixed that problem. Going back to the game a year ago against the Browns where they allowed 9. I mean, that was a different regime, but still, brutal offensive line. And it's not getting any better, okay? Good luck versus the Giants. They're going to blitz the crap out of Justin Fields. And, yeah, Chicago's in for a long year. All right. Roquan Smith on defense, 16 tackles, an interception. One of the best young linebackers in football. All right. Had a big monster game. Eddie Jackson, one of the underrated safeties in the league, had an interception. Bears turned it over twice, but they won by 3. Still got some work to do, but 2-1, not taking them serious yet. No way. Vegas Raiders and the Tennessee Titans. Cannot believe I'm saying this, but the Raiders are 0-3. And I did not expect them to be 0-3 through 3 games. I don't think anybody did. But they are what their record says they are. Okay? Derek Carr, 26 of 44, 303 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception. Welcome to Throwing Picks in the Red Zone, Derek Carr. You join Davis Mills. That red zone interception, all you need to do is just throw it away and take 3. You lost by 2. Difference in the game. Now, granted, they were down, I want to say it was 16 at the time, but you can't come away with no points there, okay? Josh Jacobs, 13 carries, 66 yards. I don't know why McDaniels isn't running him more. I know they tried in the Cardinal game, but something just seems off. And Devontae Adams, 5 catches, 36 yards, and a touchdown. He's getting frustrated that they're 0-3. You realize how good you had it in Green Bay. Derek Carr is not Aaron Rodgers. That's not changing anytime soon. Okay? It's weird that he looked average these last 2 games. But it's because defenses are doubling him, looks like, more, and letting guys like Mac Hollins beat him. When Hunter Renfrow gets back, Guys like him in the slot, Hollins on the outside, Waller, they're going to take their chances. They're not letting Devontae Adams beat them. So it probably explains why Devontae's been, just okay lately. But he's been getting in the end zone, so that's a good sign. Speaking of Mac Hollins, he had 8 catches, 158 yards, and a touchdown. But the Raiders defense, I said in the beginning of the season, it's going to be their biggest question mark, and it still remains. We know Max Crosby's a stud. He got a sack, okay? They gave up 24 allowed in this game. Deron Harmon did get a takeaway. He had an interception. 1 of 12 on third down. I just ripped the Steelers for how bad they were. You're not winning games when you go 1 for 12 on third down. You're not going to win games like that. You have to be able to convert and extend drives. They didn't do that this game. Okay? All right, and then the Raiders, we all know they committed a shit ton of penalties. They committed 6. Unfortunately, these are what the Las Vegas Raiders are and have always been. A penalized team, and they just do losing mistakes. That's what they are. All right? Tennessee Titans. Still not sold on Ryan Tannehill at all. Not at all. Okay? 19 to 27, 264 yards, touchdown and interception. Right? Derrick Henry, he just looks broken down and beat up. 20 carries, 85 yards, and a touchdown. He doesn't look the same anymore. It happens with all great running backs where there's a window where they could get a ton of carries, but it takes so much beating on the body. Okay? Where you get those hits, especially for a bigger guy like him, they'll hit him high. Okay? And he had foot surgery last season in the middle, and he just doesn't look any bit of the dominant form that he is. Okay? I'm telling you, for fantasy owners that were smart enough to stay away from Derrick Henry, kudos to you. But he is not the same. Okay? Robert Woods stepping up as the number 1 receiver, 4 catches, 85 yards. Jeff Swaim caught a touchdown. Defense, though, still not crazy about them either. 22 points allowed this game. Okay? Kevin Byard, one of the really good safeties in the game. Interception. Weaver got a sack on the pass rush. But 7 penalties for 85 yards. Yeah, they got some cleaning up to do. And they got a big game in COLTS to try to salvage their season in their hopes of winning the AFC South. But not that impressed at all. Chiefs and the Colts. Now, I got to preface this. I do. I did say on Guarantee It's last week, take the 5.5 with the Colts. I also said the Chiefs were going to win the game, okay, on last week's show. Please note that, because that's important with what I'm going to say. But I also said the Colts have their backs against the wall. They're playing the game of their lives. They know this is it. If they lost that game, they're done. Frank Reich's on the real hot seat. They had to win last Sunday's game. They did. So it doesn't surprise me that this happened. Okay? But the Chiefs, it started last week when Mahomes got frustrated with the Chargers, with the late hits. Okay? Receivers weren't doing well. He doesn't miss Tyreek now, but let's see later on as the season goes on. This is just beginning that trickle-down effect that they're going to have, and it will happen because they got Tampa coming up Sunday. We'll mention that later. But it continued on again this week, okay? And your quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, the media's darling, the golden boy, the saint who can't do anything wrong, except for that AFC Championship in Cincinnati last year when they finally admitted he had a bad game, okay? But these last 2 games, he's been average. I don't care what any of you guys say. It's my show, damn it. What I say stands. He's been average the last 2 games, okay? And a guy he's owned over through the years, Gus Bradley, who is now the Colts defensive coordinator, finally got him. He finally got Mahomes. Now you can't outsmart Gus Bradley anymore. Wow. And now I know what you bandwagons are going to say, Chief fans. The run game was a no-show. You don't run the ball at all. Stop it. Okay? Edwards-Hilaire's are okay. Isaiah Pacheco's okay. Stop. You don't run the ball, okay? Juju, Mr. TikTok dancer, 5 for 89. Finally has a big game. Guess Andy Reid's been ignoring him for doing all those TikToks with Jackson Mahomes. Travis Kelce had a touchdown. And what do you know? So Patrick Mahomes loses a game, and when the defense plays well, holding the 20, Nick Bolton gets 2 sacks, right? They get a fumble recovery and a sack by their number 1 corner, L'Jarius Sneed. They get 5 team sacks as a team. They give up 20, and you still lose. Why can't the Chiefs score over 20 points against the Colts? Why? You have Andy Reid and you have Patrick Mahomes. Everybody tells me he's by far and away the best quarterback in the NFL right now. I want to know why he can't score over 20 versus the Colts. I want to know. Oh, don't tell me about the special teams. Because you had a kicker. You just choose to get greedy and get a fake field goal to try to, shock the world. Let's do this. Okay? And then the other one, he missed. Okay? So don't give me the special teams excuses. Don't tell me the run game didn't show. Don't give me that. Because your defense played well enough to win the game and you lost. Because your quarterback couldn't get over 20 versus the Colts defense without Shaquille Leonard. Buckner, not 100%. Come on, man. Stop. Oh, and I forgot. He threw a late interception to win the game. What? The baby goat throws a late interception? I know people kill Tom Brady for throwing a late game interception. I know people killed Peyton Manning for that Super Bowl when he threw a pick to Tracy Porter. I know people killed Rodgers for late game interceptions. But now Mahomes throws one. What are we going to do now? Well, guess what? He threw a late game interception, Chief Bandwagons. Okay? Came up real short. Choked. Okay? Machoke. He did it in the championship game last year versus Cincinnati. He did it again on Sunday. Yup, he did. All right? I'm telling you, it's starting that trickle-down effect. It's only going to go down. You got Tampa this week. Oh, boy. And Todd Bowles had the blueprint for him. It started in that Super Bowl. Okay? They had 3. And don't give me the missed opportunities. You had 3. Okay? Like I said, turnover on downs, one of them. A missed field goal. And then the interception. You cash in on one, we wouldn't have this conversation. But you choked. Okay? 3rd down, 30%. Don't give me that. 2 turnovers. Oh, so now they're turning the ball over. I'm telling you, Chief Bandwagons, trickling down. The downfall is coming. It started in that Super Bowl versus Tampa. It continued with the Cincinnati championship game. He got frustrated Thursday night versus the Chargers, and it's continuing this week. And it's going to build off what happened last week versus the Colts. Just wait. Okay? You're not that dominant anymore. I don't care. You guys are going downhill. Just going to sit back and watch the ride. Okay? To the Colts, Matt Ryan, 27 of 37, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns. Good game for him. When Jonathan Taylor's an average game, 21 carries, 71 yards. Okay? Michael Pittman Jr. stepping up as the number 1 receiver, 8 catches for 72 yards. Okay? Alec Pierce caught 3 for 61. Okay? Jelani Woods. You guys have never heard of him. He's now the Colts tight end. Caught 2 touchdowns. Way to have a big game against those kings of the AFC, people said. They're not the Kings anymore. No way. Cincinnati beat them in the championship. Cincinnati, last I know, is the king of the AFC now. Okay? So, good. Way to have a good game, Jelani Woods. This was the good game. The offensive line for the Colts. 2 weeks in a row now, they've been brutal. They gave up 5 sacks this game, and I think they gave up around 4 or 5 against Jacksonville. I need to know why a team with an all-pro guard in Quentin Nelson, a very good center in Ryan Kelly, who's a Pro Bowl center, a very good right tackle in Braden Smith, and I don't know if Eric Fisher's still there with the Colts anymore. I'd have to double-check that, but I need to know why the Colts are giving up a lot of sacks in these last 2 games. Jacksonville is not even that great of a pass rush. Kansas City really is Chris Jones, okay? And they're still giving up around 4 or 5 sacks a game. Something's off, okay? And on defense, Gus Bradley, I mentioned him earlier, finally found the blueprint. 17 points allowed they gave up. Okay. Ngakoue got a sack coming over from Las Vegas. Ronnie McLeod, game-winning interception on Patrick Mahomes. Yep. Wish I had the clip, but I didn't get it. But maybe we'll save it for later in the year when the Chiefs are probably out of the playoffs, hopefully. All right. They had the one missed opportunity, but they won the game. They'll correct on it. Huge win for the Colts. Bills in Miami. I've been praising Josh Allen the last 2 weeks on the show, but he threw the ball 63 times. Let that sink in for a second. 63 times he threw it. Threw for over 400, threw 2 touchdowns. But he had some bad clock management issues. At the end of the first half, I don't know what was going on, but he's a very smart guy. He's one of the best in the game right now for sure, but to be that bad at clock management, that's concerning. All right? The running game didn't help him out at all, really. Okay? He's the leading rusher, Josh Allen. It's not a sustainable way of winning. You know, if he gets one hit, Buffalo's season hinges on how severe the injury could be. But he didn't get hurt. I'm just saying. One hit, and God forbid it's, I'm just saying. It's not a sustainable way for him to be throwing like he is and be your leading rusher. That running game is going to have to step up somehow, okay? Devin Singletary did a good job in the passing game, not for 78 and a touchdown. Isaiah McKenzie chipped in, 7 for 76. Stephon Diggs, 7 for 74. They also gave up 4 sacks to the Bills line, okay? 2 they gave up in week 1, not much against Tennessee. Miami showed a blueprint. I'm going to put it all together when we recap Miami, but that offensive line of the Bills, it's rare they give up 4 sacks on their quarterback. It's rare, okay? But that offensive line did not look good Sunday at all right? Defense, hey, they held Miami to, 21, 21 really, okay? Gregory Rousseau, sack and a half, okay? We all know the Bills' front seven's deep, okay? They didn't get any takeaways. They're really good at getting takeaways. Tyler Bass, the one missed field goal was the big missed opportunity of the game. I believe it was from like 35 yards out or something like that. Oh, man. You look at that play and you go, man, if I make that, we win by 1. But that one missed opportunity hurts. Okay? You actually had 3. You had a missed field goal, you had a turnover on downs, and then you had the end of the half. Like I said, Josh Allen had some bad clock management, end of the halves. Okay? The one also where he missed Isaiah McKenzie, he normally makes that throw. He didn't make it this week. Okay? If that ball's thrown properly, we're not having this conversation. All right? They were great on third down. They'll work on shit in the red zone, 2 for 4. Okay? 7 penalties. Defensive coordinators throughout the league. Watch this Miami-Buffalo game if you want to stop the Buffalo Bills and defend Josh Allen. That's your only hope to beat them. You watch that game closely, that's your best chance to beat the Buffalo Bills. Okay? Miami got after Josh Allen. Okay? They made them turn it over, and they cashed in on their turnovers. I said it early in the year. Your only hope to beat Buffalo is to get pressure on Allen. They got him 4 times this game, and make them turn it over and cash in. Miami did that. Speaking of the Dolphins, Tua looked average. Okay? 13 of 18, 186 yards. Touchdown. He was average. Chase Edmonds picked up the heavy lifting, 2 rushing touchdowns. Jalen Waddle, 4 for 102. Okay? Kraft had a touchdown, the tight end. Tyreek was quiet. Okay? Defense won them the game. Held the Bills, pulling offense to 19. Melvin Ingram, 2 sacks, a fumble recovery on the edge. Okay? Javon Hall, a young safety that's really good in the league. Sack and a half. All right? 9 solo tackles. Defense won this game. Plain and simple. Miami defense is the big story of this game. Lions and the Vikings. Jared Goff, 25 of 41, 277, touchdown, interception. I just am not a big Jared Goff fan. I don't think the Lions are going to win that many games with him. I don't know why they didn't get a quarterback in the offseason. That remains to be seen. Okay? Jamal Williams, 20 carries, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns. helping out the injured DeAndre Swift. T.J. Hawkinson had a touchdown. Defense gave up 28. They had Elliott had a fumble recovery. Alex Anzalone, 9 tackles and a sack. 5 missed opportunities that had 2 missed field goals, 2 turnover on downs, and an interception. If you had literally 1 or 2 of those go your way, we're not having this conversation of you guys being 1 and 2. 2 and 1, we'd be like, wow, okay, Dan Campbell's turning things around. Guess being on Hard Knocks did not help you guys at all. Same old Lions. 3 of 16 on third down. Not going to win a lot. Okay? And 7 penalties. No. 3 of 16 on third down won't work, and 7 penalties is not going to help. Not in a one-score game. That's the little things that separate good from great teams. All right? So, let's just call it like we see it. Speaking of the Vikings, Kirk Cousins finally is away from prime time. He actually played a good game. 24-41, 260, 2 touchdowns. Okay? Dalvin Cook, 17 for 96 and a touchdown. Good to see him get involved more. Okay? Alexander Mattison, the backup running back, even ran one in. KJ Osborne stepping up while Justin Jefferson gets the double teams. 5 for 73 and a touchdown. Thielen scored 6 for 67 and a touchdown. Defense held the 24. It's okay. Not great. Metellus, the middle linebacker, he had 10 solo tackles. He had an interception. Good game for him. Jordan Hicks snuck in 10 solo tackles too. Okay? They didn't get any takeaways. They didn't get any sacks. 2 missed opportunities. Third down, they weren't great. They were like 2 for 9. They got some stuff to work on, but Minnesota being 2 and 1, they'll take it. They're right with Green Bay for the North. And the Bears somehow. I don't know how. Ravens and the Patriots. Lamar had his way with us. We let him do what he wanted to do. 18 to 29, 218 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, an interception. And then he runs 11 times for 107 yards and a touchdown on the ground. He played great against us, but like I said, we let him have what he wanted. Okay? Justice Hill, 6 carries, 60 yards. Okay? Mark Andrews. What did I say last week? Double Mark Andrews. But I guess that I don't know anything about football then. Because if you double Mark Andrews, I don't know what happens. Because nobody doubles him. Okay? 8 catches, 89 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And we didn't double Mark Andrews. We left him single coverage. The one catch where he's like this, the safety's literally turned the opposite way. He's looking through him instead of looking for the ball, which he should be looking for the ball. Okay? I like Devin McCourty. Good safety in the league. You got to turn and make a play on the ball. Okay? On Mark Andrews. You got to turn and make a play on the ball. You just go like this, and Andrews catches it over like, it's easy. Lamar played good. He had the nice throw to Duvernay. All right, but we had our chances, which we'll get into. But the one throw to Duvernay was nice, but I know the he can't throw crowd is going to be all over me now. Oh, did you see what he did to the Patriots? Okay, but we're not really that good this year. That's what I'm telling you. That's apparently what everybody's saying. Okay? So, let me see you against Buffalo. Then we'll start that talk. Okay? Just saying, but apparently I don't know football because my team decides not to double Mark Andrews. All right? Devin Duvernay spoke about his touchdown. We let a nobody named Oliver get a touchdown. That offensive line, I'm still not sold on. They gave up 4 sacks. All right? 3 in the first half, I want to say. Okay? Defense did get their takeaways. They gave up 26 to us, though. Okay? Marcus Peters got an interception and a fumble recovery. They got 3 sacks. We let a washed-up old veteran middle linebacker, Josh Bynes, get 8 tackles and a pick. And Marlon Humphrey gets an interception. And they go just under 50% on third down. Yeah. That's what happened with the Ravens. Okay? And that's just how this game was told for the Ravens side of things. Speaking of my Patriots, I like Mac Jones. I root for him. I really want him to be good. played all right. You didn't play that great. 22 of 32, 321 yards. He had a rushing touchdown, 3 interceptions. Hope he's going to be okay. We'll talk about that when we get to the Patriot-Packer game. I just got an update on his status, okay, as we're recording this video right now. The running game 8. Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, 23 carries combined, 114 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's what we are. A run team that comes straight at you. Not this zone run scheme the Niners and the Rams use. No, Matt Patricia. We're a straight downhill team, run right at you. But no, an unproven play caller decides we're going to change our scheme now, in the kid's second year of development. Is this really what we need to do now? No. Who are you to come in there and change the freaking blocking scheme to a zone run scheme? What have you proven as an offensive play caller? Defensive coach, you were just average. But of course, he's Bill's puppet, okay? And he'll let him do whatever he wants. He's not the guy. Why don't you go learn from Nick Saban, who brought in Lane Kiffin from a USC, okay? Who brought back Steve Sarkisian, okay? It's okay to bring somebody with a great mind and teach him your way. But he's stubborn and won't do that because he's going to go to his own house and try to establish some no-name assistant or scout and try to make them call offense. That's not how the NFL works. It's not going to be that easy for them, okay? I don't know why he can't just swallow his pride and try to go get somebody. You know how many coaches would be like, oh, I'd like to work for Bill Belichick and see how they do things. It's okay to take a lesson from Saban, who was a good friend of yours and who coached under you when you were in Cleveland. It's not that hard. Joe Judge and Matt Patricia are not the guys. That's the plain and simple way of how to fix this. Just go back to what we were, a straight downhill team, okay? Devontae Parker showed up, okay? 5 for 156, didn't get in the end zone, but he had a big game, all right? This offensive line, speaking of that zone blocking scheme, 3 sacks, and you got our quarterback hurt. High ankle sprain. Because Matt Patricia, no-name offensive coordinator, okay, who used to coach defense, decides, yeah, I'm going to bring the zone run scheme in that the Niners and the Rams do and see how we do. You haven't proven anything. If it was somebody else, that's one thing. What have you done as an offensive coordinator? Nothing. So therefore, you shouldn't even be thinking about bringing that zone run scheme in. Okay? No. If it was somebody established and had done something, it's one thing. He's done the opposite. And don't give me what Joe Judge did either. All we know is he called a surrender formation when he was with the Giants. That's what got his ass fired in New York. Just saying. Okay? Now, the defense, Dietrich Wise showed up. 3 sacks in the first half on Lamar. I've watched this closely. He's good. John Jones, one of the young corners in the league that's really good. He had a pick. All right? You give up 39 to the Ravens. 39. They're not the Bills. They're not Cincinnati's offense. They're not. The Ravens are different. They're a running offense. They're not those historically great offenses or what the Bills and what Tampa used to be with with Brady the last couple of years. Green Bay, what they used to be the last couple of years. No, they're not that. You give up 39. We beat ourselves. 3 missed opportunities, okay? 2 of 9 on third down. It's not going to work, all right? 4 turnovers. We beat ourselves. We deserve to lose this game because we beat ourselves, plain and simple. You won't win games like this. You won't, all right? Bengals and the Jets. Joe Burrow, 23 of 36, 275, 3 touchdowns. Perfect bounce back spot for him, right? Joe Mixon, the running game didn't help out much. Tyler Boyd stepped up 4 for 105 and a touchdown. T. Higgins, 5 for 93. Jamar Chase, 6 for 29 and a touchdown. All right, Samaje Perine, the backup running back, got a touchdown even. Defense, Trey Hendrickson, we called his name a lot last year. 2.5 sacks. They had 3 fumble recoveries as a team. 2 interceptions they got. 12 points allowed. They were 50% on third down. They did have 2 missed opportunities, but It's the Jets, and they bounced back. We knew this would be a perfect bounce back game for them. No surprise there, right? All right. Now the Jets. The good news for them is Zach Wilson's back, I guess. It's good. Flacco's done. Zach Wilson comes in. Okay. Tyler Conklin, 8 for 84. Garrett Wilson, 6 for 60 yards. Offensive line, 4 sacks allowed. Mekhi Becton was out for the year prior to these 3 regular season games, so that's not really a lot to say there. Defense, they did get some sacks on Joe Burrow. We all know the Bengals line is shambles, okay? Or 2 sacks, I want to say. 27 points allowed. C.J. Mosley had a fumble recovery. They have missed opportunities, 2 of them, and 4 turnovers. Needless to say, that's just what the Jets are, okay? That's all we know that they are, okay? End of the Joe Flacco era. In comes Zach Wilson. 1 and 2. Eagles and Commanders. Jalen Hurts, 22 of 35, 340 yards, 3 touchdowns. Through 3 games, he's been really, really good. Okay? Running game didn't do much. Sanders, Gainwell, Hurts running. Okay? Boston Scott. They didn't do much, surprisingly. Okay? Devontae Smith, 8 for 169 and a touchdown. Looked like 2020 Heisman Trophy winner all over again. Okay? A.J. Brown, 5 for 85 yards and a touchdown. Dallas Goedert even got one in there. Defense, they did great. Brandon Graham had 2.5 sacks. They had 9 team sacks and 17 quarterback hits. 9 sacks and 17 quarterback hits. And that's insane. Okay? Washington's line we're going to get into a little bit. But clearly this Eagles defense is deep at the front 7. They have a very strong secondary. Albeit they played a cupcake schedule. But they look for now like they're going to be tough. It's going to be very interesting when they play teams like Green Bay and the big boys, how they'll do. Although they do play a second place schedule. So we got to see how they do against some legit competition. But you are who you play in your schedule, and they're 3-0, and that's the bottom line. Okay? Washington. Carson Wentz just looks all right. Nothing special. Okay? 25 of 43, 211 yards. Okay? Gibson had a rushing touchdown. McLaurin, 6 for 102. Offensive line's terrible. They gave up 5 sacks to Detroit last week, 3 to Aiden Hutchinson alone. Okay? This offensive line's not very good. Now, Jamin Davis, 2 sacks. They had 2 missed opportunities to Commanders. Let's just face it, they're not a great team. We don't need to really keep going on about this. All right? Saints and Panthers. Jameis Winston still looks like the Jameis Winston we all know and are used to. Big arm, good numbers, but turns the ball over. Okay, 25 of 41, 353, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Mark Ingram, rushing touchdown. Okay, Chris Olave, 9 for 147. Traquan Smith, 4 for 105. Callaway had a touchdown. Defense did get 3 sacks on Baker Mayfield. They gave up 22 and 0 takeaways. They did have 3 missed opportunities. Again, that's been the trend for 3 games. They had a missed field goal, they had a blocked field goal, and they had a fumble. And Alvin Kamara, I need to know why he's not the same either. Okay? 7 penalties, 3 turnovers. A lot of things made you lose this game. Okay? A lot of things. So they got some major cleaning up to do. So, Carolina, finally in the win column. Baker Mayfield did okay. Nothing crazy. I know somebody is celebrating that. Oh, he beat the Saints. I'll let you guys figure out who that is. Okay. Christian McCaffrey, 25 for $108. Feed him. He's your bell cow. He's your engine. You got to get him the ball however you can. Okay? That's the bottom line about the Panthers. The wide receivers got to step up, though. Robbie Anderson's good. DJ Moore's good. Chenault led them in receiving. Okay? They got to get them going. That offensive line, terrible last year. Gave up 3 sacks this game to a good defense. So I guess we won't make too much of a big deal, but something to keep an eye on. 14 points allowed, 2 interceptions. They got a sack. I'm not making a big deal about the Panthers win. All right, they got Arizona next week. They should beat them, but I'll let my picks to do the talking later in the show. Jaguars and the Chargers. Trevor Lawrence, 28 of 39, 262 yards, 3 touchdowns. My God. Did we expect this? No. But Trevor Lawrence being better in year 2 under Doug Peterson? Yes. We all said Doug Peterson's an upgrade over Urban Meyer. But wow, he looked that good versus the Chargers. Okay? James Robinson, 17 for 100 yards and a touchdown. Okay? Zay Jones got his fair share, 10 for 85 and a score. Christian Kirk, Mr. $20 million receiver, 6 for 72 and a touchdown. Marvin Jones, 4 for 33 and a score. Defense held the Chargers offense to 10 points. A fumble recovery and an interception by Devin Lloyd. Really good linebacker. Okay? Jaguars almost tied their win total from last year. I think they did. And it's crazy. They got the same amount of wins in 2 weeks as they did all of last year. Jacksonville's heading on the right direction. Just a tough game next week, though. Chargers. Yes, I did pick them to win the AFC West. I know. Justin Herbert, 25 of 45, 297, touchdown and a pick. He didn't look right. When I heard they said he was taking an injection to the ribs, I was like, I don't know if he's going to play that great. I kind of stood corrected, but I didn't think he played this poorly. Okay? Running game did nothing. I want to know one thing. Where did Austin Eckler go? Because I didn't see him this game. And Jacksonville's not that great versus the run. But apparently this game he was a no-show. I want to know why. Mike Williams caught a touchdown. Defense under Brandon Staley. They were trash this game. They were trash. Now, Jackson's hurt. I know. He's been in and out of a couple games. Joey Bosa's now hurt. He's on IR. They lost their offensive tackle, Rashawn Slater. It's always something with the damn Chargers. It always is something. Last year was Brandon Staley and his nonstop analytics going for it on 4th down. Now the injuries are biting him again. It's always something with the Chargers. It's always something. Okay? They couldn't get a sack. They couldn't get a takeaway. They got 7 penalties and 2 turnovers. And this is the worst time for the Chargers. I know it's early in the year, but it's at a bad time. Because you're literally about to join the Raiders maybe being the same record in the division. And you guys are just as talented as Denver is, who's not very good either. We'll get to them. And Kansas City, who's going to win the division by default at this point. Rams and the Cardinals. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not that impressed with either team. I don't think anybody's really stood out in this game. Okay? Stafford looked okay. Pedestrian stats. 18 to 25 for 249 yards. Cooper Kupp, rushing touchdown. 4 for 44, receptions and yards. That's interesting against Arizona, who's very thin in the secondary. He only gets 4 catches for 44 yards. Finally looks guardable for a game. Cam Akers had a showing. 12 for 61 and a touchdown. Okay? 12 points allowed on defense for the Rams. Aaron Donald got his 100th sack. 2 as a team they got. They had the one missed opportunity that would have been the knockout punch. Cam Akers fumbles at the 1. Okay? He fumbles on the goal line a lot, Sean McVay. I don't know if you watched that Tampa playoff game last year. Fumbled the bag. And he did it again. Okay? They were not great in the red zone. 1 for 3. 6 penalties. 1 turnover. Not impressed. That's all I'll say. Arizona, Kyler. 37 to 58. 314. Not great. Nothing special. They kick field goals the whole time. Running game didn't help. James Conner was kind of banged up. That kind of explains a little bit of things. Hollywood Brown stepping up for the injured. DeAndre Hopkins, 14 for 140. Greg Dortch now becoming a big part of their offense. 9 for 80 yards. Defense gave up 20. Should win the game, but their offense can't score. J.J. Watt got a sack. 6 penalties. Cliff Kingsbury's talking about how they don't practice well. You should be 0-3, if not for a fluke Raiders game where they just were more aggressive, the Raiders. But they didn't. Arizona just doesn't look that great. So let's call it like we see it. Falcons Seahawks. Another game I'm not spending crazy time on because I want to get to the night game and I want to get to the Packers-Bucks game after this. Mariota had a rushing touchdown, 229 through the air. He was 65% completion percentage, touchdown and interception. Cordero, he's the guy that's going to be getting the ball. He's your bell cow, just like the Panthers with McCaffrey. 17 carries, 141, and a touchdown. He can catch the ball out of the backfield too now. Okay? Kyle Pitts finally had a showing. Finally, Arthur Smith, you got him the ball. 5 for 87. Drake London's playing really good too. 3 catches, 54 yards in the score. He's looking really good for someone coming out of college that we weren't sure how he was going to be because of his torn ACL last year. Okay? He's looked very good for a rookie through 3 games. Defense gave up 23. They did get 2 sacks and a pick. 4-7 on third downs, great. Above 50%. Okay? And they turned the ball over twice. But they've been competitive so far through 3 games. Against good teams, Saints, Rams. Although Seattle's not great, but they've been competitive in every game. And I kind of like who they play this week. All right? Geno Smith for Seattle. What did I say after that perfect game he had in week 1? He's going to turn right back around to the same old Geno we know. Just okay. 32 of 44, 325, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Running game did okay. I think Kenneth Walker got hurt. I'm not sure. Okay. Tyler Lockett, 9 for 76. DK, 5 for 64 and a score. All right. Will Dissly had a touchdown. All right. Defense, 3 sacks and a pick. 27 points allowed. 6 penalties. And Geno's interception sold the game. Chance to win. He throws a game interception. All right. Packers and the Bucks. Aaron Rodgers played efficient. 27 to 35. He did throw a pick. 255 and 2 touchdowns. Okay. Running game didn't do great. Tampa's run defense is among elite. Romeo Dobbs, the kid they liked in camp, 8 for 73 and a score. Okay. Alan Lazard got a touchdown. Okay. Defense, 12 points allowed. Kenny Clark, 2 sacks. All right. They had the red zone fumble, which was a huge missed opportunity. Okay. 8 penalties and 2 turnovers in the game, counting Rodgers' interception. So they scored on both their drives to start the game, and they didn't do anything since. Interesting how that game works itself out. Really, Green Bay has one way. They run, grind the clock out, short underneath passes, and play defense. Kind of not an impressive way to win, but, you know, when you got Rodgers, you might be able to get away with it. I just don't know how long they're going to get away with this kind of a strategy. That's just me. Tampa. Brady, 31 of 42, 271 and a touchdown. He looked okay. I'm not going to make a big deal about him right now and the offense. I need to see 8-9 games before I do, because when we get 8-9 games and a bigger sample size, then we could start worrying if this offense isn't that great. Okay, they played good defenses through 3 games, and they just have been all right. He was without his top 3 receivers, a third-string left tackle starting. His starting center's not there, and his starting left guard's hurt. Name a guy that can win with that kind of a situation. Name a guy. I don't know anybody that could. Okay? Running game didn't do well. Green Bay's run defense was good. Russell Gage, 12 for 87 and a touchdown. Okay? Defense did that great. 12, they gave up 14. The offense just didn't play well this game. Okay? Logan Ryan had an interception, a fumble recovery. 2 fumbles hurt him. They were moving. Gage fumbled one, and Perriman fumbled the other. You get one of those back, kick a field goal, we're having a different conversation. Offensive line, 3 sacks allowed. That Bucs line's concerning. They haven't looked great through 3 games either. I know they played elite defenses, but they got to find a way to protect Brady better, because this is not a great start. 2 of 11 on third down, 6 penalties, 2 turnovers. They'll clean it up, but not a good way they look this game at all. Not a good way to look. Niners, Broncos. 49ers defense did their job. Okay, I'm starting with them first, because they gave up 9 points allowed, really. Okay, they got 4 sacks. They got 9 hits on Russell Wilson, but their offense was anemic. Jimmy G pulled a Dan Orlovsky in front of the whole world watching. Okay, did okay. I'm not even reading his stat line. He pulled a Dan Orlovsky. That's how bad he was. All right, Brandon Ayuk got a touchdown. Jeff Wilson, 12 for 75. Offensive line, 4 sacks allowed. 1 of 10 on third down. 7 penalties, 3 turnovers. San Francisco's 1-2. And they have not looked impressive at all. There's some huge concerns going on there. Trey Lance is out for the year, and he didn't look that great in preseason. And Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't look that much better right now. Huge problems in San Francisco right now. Speaking of Denver, Russell Wilson, 20 of 33 for 184. Doesn't sound all that impressive either. They had one drive that really won them the game, okay? And that was Melvin Gordon rushing a touchdown in. Cortland Sutton's their only big receiver good doing stuff, 8 for 97 yards, okay? Offensive line can't protect Russell Wilson. They gave up 4 sacks, okay? Defense, 10 points allowed, 4 sacks. I mean, defensively, they're legit. They have 4 sacks, they had an interception. Their offensive line just can't protect. But defense can win them a game. They held the Niners to really 10 points, okay? They had a missed field goal opportunity, and Nathaniel Hackett still sucks at game managing. He hired a guy from the outside to help him fix this, and yet you still suck at managing a game. So what did you bring him in then for? If you still suck at game managing, period. Okay? But yeah, not sold on him as coach. He punted on 4th and 1. Now I know if he doesn't get it, Niners go in, shit like that. But that offense, not moving the ball well. One drive, basically winning the game. Cowboys and the Giants. Cooper Rush, I got a nickname for him already. I know, I'm only using it once. Clutch Rush. That's what Cooper Rush is. Clutch Rush. Okay? 3 games, 3-game winning drives in both. 21 of 31, 215, and a touchdown. Okay? Tony Pollard and Zeke combined for 28 carries, 178 yards, and a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb, 8 for 87 and a score. DeMarcus Lawrence torched the rookie Evan Neal. 3 sacks in a game. And Lawrence Taylor was in attendance for this game to watch Micah Parsons. But instead, DeMarcus Lawrence showed up with 3 sacks. Trayvon Diggs, game-sealing interception on Daniel Jones. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But the Cowboys, one big glaring thing they got to fix. 8 penalties they had. 2 of 4 in the red zone. And I need to know one thing. The one play where Cooper Rush, I guess, threw it away, Kellen Moore and McCarthy were talking on the sideline, and Kellen Moore was looking at Cooper Rush like, what did you see? More importantly, later in the game, you're throwing on 3rd and 8. Why are you not running the clock out? You understand if you run the clock out, Giants have no timeouts. You take time off the clock for them to go down and score, and then they have less time to work with to move the ball downfield. Why are you throwing and then you go out of bounds? Coaching is the one concern the Cowboys are going to have because the penalties are still at a high level and they have some questionable moments. I don't know what's going on with Kellen Moore or Mike McCarthy calling plays on offense, but head-scratching calls again. Still the same weird coincidence of plays that are going down. Speaking of the Giants, did I not tell you to not get yourselves so full of yourselves? Did I not tell you? You beat Carolina and you beat Tennessee on a fluke 2-point conversion. Really? Told you. You guys were frauds. Daniel Jones sold this game. He's just not very good. Somebody I know that is watching the show, he's a friend of mine, he tells me, Daniel Jones is the future, Rich. I don't think anybody believes that. I don't think anybody believes that. 20 for 37, 196 yards and an interception. That's the future? Really? No. He's had enough time to prove that. He doesn't look any bit of the guy. Saquon, that's who you feed the ball. That's what you got to work with. 14 for 81 and a touchdown. Receivers, flopped. Kenny Golladay complained about him not playing. Brian Daboll said, I'm playing my best guys. And when Kenny Golladay gets an opportunity, it was late in the 4th quarter, drops the ball and the crowd boos him. Probably explains why you're not playing, Kenny Golladay. Probably explains why. Okay? Offensive line for the Giants, still brutal. 5 sacks allowed. Defense couldn't get a sack on him. They couldn't get a takeaway. 23. You already know if the Giants are not getting over 20. Okay? So you got to get holding it to the teens or lower. Giants don't have that defense. The Big Blue Wrecking Crew isn't showing up any bit. That team from Super Bowl 42 isn't showing up again. Strahan tucking them, no way. So that's not going to work. 3 of 11, terrible. 8 penalties, the 1 turnover difference in the game. Okay? The New York Giants are frauds. I said it last week. They're not that good, and I'm sticking by it. But I know who you play next week. All right. So those are the recapping with Rich segment. I will do it because we forgot at the beginning. I wanted to get right into things. That was the recapping with Rich for week 3. Now let's get on to week 4 picks, shall we? Bengals and Dolphins. The one issue I have in this game I want to see and how it goes down is the Bengals line versus the Miami aggressive defense. Josh Boyer likes to blitz, Miami's defensive coordinator. Bengals line can't protect Joe Burrow. That's the deciding matchup tonight. If the Bengals can't protect that, they're in for a long year. And Joe Burrow might be Andrew Luck. All right? But I think Joe Burrow and the Bengals, they have to win this game. They can't afford to be 1-3. And things are only going to get tougher from here on out. So I'm going Cincinnati 27, Miami 24. I'm going to go with them. All right? Vikings Saints, our first London game, 9:30 a.m. on NFL Network. Tough game to pick because I don't know what I'm going to get out of each team. But if I had to pick based on how I see this game going down, I'm going Vikings 23, Saints 16. I just trust Kirk Cousins over Jameis Winston. I don't know what the Saints are on offense. And the Vikings, I think Justin Jefferson gets back to what he is. Maybe not this game, but eventually he'll get back to what he will be. Falcons and the Cleveland Browns. Upset special. I'm taking the Falcons at home. All right? I don't know how Cleveland's favorite in Atlanta. I need somebody to explain that to me because Cleveland does not look impressive through 3 weeks. Atlanta's been in every game they're in. It's just they lost to 2 better teams. I'm going with the Falcons, 28-27. I think Kyle Pitts and Drake London, those guys are really good. I think that they got to get Cordero, let him go. Mariota's got to just play game manager. Their defense is going to need to play well, but I don't think their defense is that good. And I'm not sold on Jacoby Brissett. I think the Falcons will key on Chubb, though. So I'm going Atlanta 28-27 over Cleveland. Cowboys and Commanders. Dallas has an elite defense, and Washington can't block them. That's what we know through 3 weeks. Okay? Dallas can run the ball, but Washington stopped the Eagles' run games. That's something Washington, I guess, could feel good about. But Dallas is just a better team, and I don't know what to make of Carson Wentz. I don't trust him anymore, and I'm going with the Cowboys 27-3. Washington cannot block Dallas's front 7. They can't. Parsons, D-Law, Armstrong, they're going to have a field day on that. 27-3 all over it. Okay? Lions Seahawks. Battle of 2 QBs, I'm not completely convinced about. I don't think you can win with either one, but somebody's got to win. Something's got to give. So I'll go with the team I trust more. I'm going with the Lions. I think that Seattle's offensive line is not that great. I think that they're not healthy in the running game. I think DK and Tyler Lockett could have a big day, but it all hinges on Geno Smith. And I don't trust Geno Smith. I don't think Seattle's defense is very good either. Give me Detroit 27. Give me the Seahawks 17. Colts Titans. Jonathan Taylor will bounce back. Matt Ryan is a good enough quarterback. I think the Colts will be back to their winning ways. I don't trust Tannehill. I think Derrick Henry's a shell of himself. I don't think the Titans are what people seek to make them be based off the last couple of years. Give me the Colts 23-21. I think it'll be close. I think the Colts will win by 2, and I expect them to win at home and take back control of the AFC South. Giants and the Bears. Chicago only runs the ball. Giants can't defend the run. Giants have no offensive line. Who's the Bears pass rush besides Robert Quinn? Oh, yeah, the Bears can't block, and the Giants blitz heavy. Take the under. I'm going Giants 21-14 over the Bears. I just feel like Saquon Barkley's going to have a big game. And I think that these young receivers are going to have to step up now that Sterling Shepard's out. Kenny Galladay, you're going to need to step up instead of dropping passes in the fourth quarter. All right? So now's your time to shine. Okay? Eagles-Jaguars. Closer than the experts say it'll be. Jacksonville looks good. Doug Peterson plays his former team. But the Eagles have just been red hot. I think it's going to stay that way. I think Jalen Hurts is going to have his way with the Jaguars defense. I don't know how you're going to cover A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Quez Watkins looked good on Monday night 2 weeks ago. Give me the Eagles 30, Jaguars 23. Steelers and the Jets. Zach Wilson's back. Steelers had 10 days off. Steelers are home. I don't know how the Jets line is going to block Alex Highsmith and Cam Hayward when TJ Watt's out. It would have been hella worse if TJ Watt was able to play, but he's not. Okay? I just trust the Steelers more. Tomlin off a loss against the Jets. I don't know really what we're going to make of the Jets this year. I don't expect a lot. I'm going Pittsburgh 20, the Steelers 10. Okay? I mean, Pittsburgh 20, the Jets 10. I apologize, guys. Steelers 20, Jets 10. Bills and Ravens. Interesting game. I know the Ravens can somehow score now. But the Bills off a loss, and have we seen how bad the Ravens defense looks lately? They gave up 26 to us, and we're not that great offensively, somebody says. Or most people think, that's fine. And they gave up 42 to Miami. So, what makes me think that they're going to be able to stop Josh Allen and them? Nothing. So, give me Buffalo 35, give me the Ravens 34. Okay? High-scoring game, it'll be fun to watch, and I expect the Bills to win. Chargers and Texans. Now, if Justin Herbert's healthy, I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers win by more than 8. But I don't know how healthy Justin Herbert is. I don't know if Keenan Allen's going to be ready to go. So, give me the Chargers 21-13. I just trust Herbert and Brandon Staley over Lovie Smith and Davis Mills. Texans are rebuilding. Chargers need to win a game. They have a lot of injuries out, so that's what concerns me. But this is the game they got to get right. It's an early must-win game for them. Chargers have to win. I'm picking them 21-13 over the Texans. Panthers and Cardinals. Under game, I don't like either team. Baker or Kyler, I don't know. Both offenses are not really that great. Defenses are just okay. It's just going to come down to who can take advantage off turnovers, who can get pressure on the other. Give me Carolina 19, Arizona 16. I'm going to go with that low-scoring game. Not really a lot to look forward to. Packers and Patriots. Okay, now, guys, this is important because this hinges on my outcome of the game. I just heard today that Mac Jones is in the facility, prepping, part of the game plan. He's told teammates, don't count me out for Sunday's game, okay? He met with the Nets team doctor, I believe, to try to see alternative options on his high ankle sprain. So there's a chance he plays. I'm going to assume that he's not playing because I don't think we're beating Green Bay with or without him, okay? So if he does play, the score I had will be closer, but I don't think it really will matter because I saw the Packers winning. So I'm going to give you my score, assuming he doesn't play, because that's what I think he's, I don't think he's going to play, but I'm assuming Hoyer's going to start. I got Green Bay 28, I got my Patriots 6. I don't know how we're going to score if Hoyer starts. I don't know how we're going to stop Rodgers and that running game, and that defense is legit in Green Bay. I don't see any scenario we win this game. Give me the Packers 28, New England 6. Assuming Brian Hoyer starts and Mac Jones doesn't. If Mac Jones starts, it's a different score. But we're going to just assume he doesn't play and Hoyer starts. So 28-6 Packers over the Patriots. Raiders and Broncos. Two teams that don't look very good, but I'm going with the team I trust more. Give me Las Vegas. I think Josh McDaniels has got to get a game plan where Josh Jacobs touches the ball at least 15, 20 times. Devontae Adams touches the ball more than 30, 40 yards a game. Okay? Derek Carr has got to play turnover-free football against a good defense. Give me the Raiders 23-16. I just trust Josh McDaniels over Nathaniel Hackett. I think the Raiders defense will get Russell Wilson to turn the ball over. and I think Crosby and Jones will get after him. I trust the Raiders 23-16 over the Broncos. Bucks and Chiefs. I don't think Kansas City's defense is that great. Tampa's offense doesn't look that impressive. But I'm not betting against Goat Man off a loss. All right? I had it picked out between Green Bay or Kansas City. One of them, those games they were going to lose. I was thinking about picking Green Bay last week to beat them, but I don't like to bet against Brady. But I'm not surprised they lost the Packers game. But I'm going to go with Tampa 23-17 over the Chiefs. I think Todd Bowles has a way to slow Mahomes down again. I don't think Kansas City's that explosive as they were in recent years. I'm going Tampa 23-17. Niners and Rams. Another game I would say take the under. Both teams don't look impressive on offense. Both defenses are rock solid, legit. But if I had to pick the team I trust more, Kyle Shanahan owns Sean McVay, except for last year's NFC Championship game. So the Niners have the blueprint to get under Stafford's nerves. They get pressure up the middle, okay? And that's where Stafford's vulnerable, okay? They have an answer for Cooper Kupp, I think. DeMeco Ryans, underrated defensive coordinator in the league. Hope he gets a head coaching job. Give me the Niners 20, the Rams 14. That's my picks for week 4, all right? Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Lounge Time this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell. Hit subscribe so you guys can get all the latest info on when we go update some new episodes for the week, so that way you guys can get all the information you need for whenever your team plays and for whenever your game is and all that stuff. So, by the way, the game will be played in Tampa. Hurricane Ian's going to pass Tampa, I believe, from what I heard recently. If it is moved from Tampa, it will be in Minnesota. Just a key note, by the way, guys. So that way you guys know in case why it's not played in Tampa, possibly. So, but for right now, it's being played in Tampa. Just one side note before we go. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Lounge Time this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I will see you guys next week when we recap week 4 and we pick week 5. And until then, I will see you guys next week on the next episode of Lounge Time. Have a good night, everybody.